these particular witnesses are claiming that Mr. Shivers was located across the street from Wings Cafe between the hours of 12:14 a.m. and 1:38 a.m. But then, if you look at paragraph 4, we're talking about departing the Wings Cafe at 12:16 a.m. with Mr. Brenton Spencer. I just learned, Judge, that Mr. Spencer is supposedly going to enter a plea and then will be testifying against, I anticipate testifying against Mr. Shivers at this trial. So this alibi defense, these witnesses are not merely to say Mr. Shivers did not commit this crime because he was not present with Mr. Spencer when Mr. Spencer is going to now plead and admit that he committed this supposed tried to commit an armed robbery against Lulu at a particular time. Now, there are some timing issues. So what I'm saying to the court here is that there's two issues here. It's not just was Mr. Shivers present when this crime occurred, when Lulu was attacked. It's also, was Mr. Shivers present with Mr. Spencer when they left? Because, Your Honor, there's a video we turned over to the state. I know they recently only got the video yesterday, and part of that video shows the vehicle that later became a big issue in this case. Just to tell the court, Mr. Shivers and Mr. Spencer went to this particular club that night. There's going to be no doubt that we can prove that. We have video footage of them going into the club. We have pictures of them at the club. But then on part of the video footage, Judge, we have the Mazda Tribute, which belongs to Mr. Shivers' mother, leave that parking lot prior to this, leaves the parking lot at 12:14 a.m. Mr. Shivers' witnesses are going to testify that, and Mr. Shivers, by the way, will testify, I'm letting you know now, that he was left behind and he did not leave the vehicle in that Mazda Tribute. That Mazda Tribute then becomes relevant later, Judge, because that's the same Mazda Tribute that Mr. Shivers crashes into the flash food sign, and that's what Mr. Shivers is then seen on the store video, putting the firearms, as the state says, behind the store, and then Mr. Shivers approaches the clerk and says, "My friend has been shot, we need help." Okay? So I'm setting that stage to let you know this is not a traditional alibi. What we're saying is that, as a part of our defense, it's important for us to prove that Mr. Spencer left without Mr. Shivers, and then Ms. Lulu testifies, is going to testify and describes that the person who stood in front of the vehicle and shot at her vehicle, and as the state says, miraculously did not shoot her, that person was described by her as having twists in their hair and is wearing glasses with light frames. She says white, then it becomes light at different points. Well, that description does not meet Mr. Shivers at all. Mr. Shivers has glasses, they're dark frame glasses, and he did not have twists in his hair. More importantly, the store clerk, the Good Samaritan who took Mr. Spencer to the hospital, and the woman who crashed, who had the car accident with Mr. Shivers, will all testify, because based on their statements we've been provided with, that there was a third person present in that car that helped Mr. Shivers remove Mr. Spencer from the automobile in order to put him in the vehicle that the Good Samaritan just took him to the hospital in, took Mr. Spencer to the hospital in. So I say all that, Judge, to let you know that Mr. Shivers' quote, credibility per se is not as important, because we're not denying, and we're not going to deny that his DNA was on that evidence, on that firearm. We're not going to deny that Mr. Shivers removed the weapons and put them behind the store. We're not going to deny that. I'm giving you